Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Epic Dad Legacy podcast. Hey, super pumped for today's episode. Got Kyle Carnohan on. Kyle is was a firefighter. He's a coach. He's a skateboarder, an entrepreneur, and a father of 5 kids, 4 boys and 1 baby girl. Kyle helps fathers from all around the world reclaim their time, their bodies, their relationships with their spouses and children through his group, Superhuman Fathers. So super pumped for this conversation. It was awesome. Kyle, what did we talk about?
Man, we went over a couple things, man. One, naming your weakness. My weakness name is Slim Shaky, and I got to smash him every morning. I got to kick him in the teeth so he doesn't rear his ugly head and ruin my day. And we talked a little bit about marriage. We talked about family. We talked about shredding on the skateboard, some punk rock, and some other epic stuff.
Awesome, Kyle. Well, yeah, guys, if you're driving, you might want to pull over for this one and break out a notepad, just, peppered full of tactical things you guys can do to make some progress in your life as a father, as a husband, as a provider, as a leader in the community. You guys are not going to want to miss this one. So, Kyle, thanks for coming on, man. Awesome conversation, and let's jump into the episode. Are you ready to become the dad you know you are meant to be? Good, because this is the Epic Dad Legacy podcast, where imperfect action is better than perfect ideas, promises kept are more important than promises made, and nothing happens unless you make it happen. My name is Drew, father of 3, and founder of the Epic Dad Company. My mission is to help dads up their game and become the husbands, fathers, and men they're called to be. Thanks for listening. Now let's start the episode.
I'm in San Diego, Oceanside, California.
San Diego.
Dude, do you know Oceanside?
No, I don't know Oceanside. I've been to San Diego, I think 3 times in a previous career. I was a manufacturer's rep for a company that was like right off the border of Mexico. So I fly into San Diego and stay there. Went to Old Town a couple times, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Went to the beach. I just to say I put my foot in the Pacific Ocean, but I've never like done anything really cool. Although there was one awesome whiskey bar I went to one night. It's called the Aero Club, I think.
Downtown San Diego?
Yes, downtown. And it used to be, or it may still be, but it's very like airplane themed, Air Force themed, etc.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I haven't been down there in a while. It's like wherever you live, you don't ever do anything.
Yeah. So where's Oceanside at in relation to downtown?
North San Diego. We're right next to Camp Pendleton.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is like, so yeah, it's like a weird eclectic mix of like, homeless people, and Marines.
Yeah. Do the SEALs do training there too? Isn't that where they do SEAL training?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, man. I think they do a bunch of shit on Camp Pendleton. It's big. It's like its own city.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Like you have to drive through for like 15 minutes to get to San Clemente, and it's all Camp Pendleton.
Did you grow up around there?
Oceanside.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Did you grow up surfing? Because I know surfing and skateboarding and all that stuff.
Dude, the whole 90s punk rock life, man. Like everything was surfing, skateboarding, punk rock, fighting.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a fighter. But I was.
Were you bigger into skateboarding or bigger into surfing or like all of it?
Skateboarding from like 11 to 17 was like skateboarding everything. Like life was skateboarding. It was like 10 hours a day. That was the only thing that mattered. Skateboarding and punk rock. That was it.
Yeah, and like what kind of punk rock? Like Ramones and stuff like that? Like
I was all into that stuff. And then I was in a band for like four years or so. It was like we got inspired by NoFX. We had a trumpet.
Yeah.
It was like in that ska-ish punk rock time.
Yeah.
And so I played the trumpet and sang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. I played the trumpet too in middle school. Not a different kind of trumpet than punk rock band. But my parents made me like, try all kinds of different stuff, right? And so music was one of them. Like I had piano lessons all when I was a kid. And then I went to one middle school and I played trumpet. And then I moved middle school and they had a guitar class. And so that's when I picked up the guitar. I think I was, I don't know, 13 or something like that. Whatever you are in 8th grade. And then I picked up a guitar, man, and fell in love with that and played that for forever. So
Yeah, man.
still hanging up on the wall over there. So
That's rad. Yeah, I kind of did the same thing, man. Once found the guitar, that was it. I did buy a trumpet like 2 years ago. I recorded a couple songs, and I was like, man, I should break out the trumpet and put some trumpet licks in these songs. And I went to play it, and my lips were just like, so I would drive to the firehouse, and while I drive to the firehouse, I'd play my little mouthpiece to try to get my lips back. So I trained it. I wrote all these parts for it, recorded it, and then I didn't touch that thing again for like a year. So it's all gone. But
yeah. So well, Kyle, man, we met at Ryan Moran's event, CapCon in Austin, Texas, which is an awesome event. And then I don't know, like there's a few people there that I was like, hey, I got to meet for sure. And like you were one of them. I think just like your energy you brought to the room, you just kind of had a different approach to things, And so I was like, hey, I got to meet this guy. And then you saw my T-shirt or something. You were like, hey, I got to meet this guy. I think I had like the pink AR in the back or something. It said "Girl Dad AF." Yeah, which you're wearing right now. Yeah. But yeah, man. So I mean, awesome event. Learned a ton there, and then we've kind of kept in touch just on social and stuff. But like, what have you been up to since the show, man?
dude, my life turned upside down, like
How's that?
crazy. So at that point, when I was there, I'm working as a fireman.
Yep.
I was building that supplement company for skateboarders,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Like the worst idea ever. And like I knew it when I made it. I was like, dude, I have to learn how to be an entrepreneur. I was like, I got to learn this. I'm leaving my life on the table. Like, there's so much opportunity in this world, and it's time to just get into it. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll make some supplements for skateboarders. And I was like, this is the worst idea ever. And it actually ended up being pretty rad, and like connecting with some cool people, and
Yeah.
learning about product and all that stuff. So I started getting entrepreneur minded. But when I met you, I had just barely started my fitness coaching business,
Yeah.
Superhuman Fathers, right? And I had just transitioned from just an Instagram that I created specifically to keep me accountable for not being an asshole in my house. Like, because I'd come home from the firehouse after like 3 or 4 days of no sleep, and I would just be this irritated blob, like, and I was like, and it was like I couldn't control it, man. I was just like out of control. It would be like constant snapping back and then apologizing, and then just like I was just an emotional mess, man. And so I was like, dude, I got to get this shit together. And so I went on Instagram, started Superhuman Fathers, had a little group of people that we kind of contact back and forth, hold each other accountable. I'd go on my stories and be like, man, I was an asshole today. I said I was going to do good, you know? And so in the firehouse, I've always been like obsessed with body composition and helping the guys at the firehouse. And I kind of became the guy you go to if like, hey, man, like they're talking about losing fat and gaining muscle. Like, dude, call Kyle. He'll get you dialed in. And then like I had set up an app and everything just for fun, just because I love my guys and I know like how much that affects us. And so over the years, I'd see guys change their bodies, and then I would see their marriages get better, and then I would see them like have better family communication with their kids and be better leaders, have more energy, start to light their lives on fire, start to feel unstoppable again. And it was like, shit, man, what was I got to be that catalyst for this guy, you know? And then, guys started coming to me with other problems, and over the course of, you know, a decade or so, like I didn't realize I was practicing like life coaching shit. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. So then I start Superhuman Fathers as a fitness business. And I kind of put it out on the Instagram, like, hey, I'm going to start getting people's jacked. Here's some guys that I helped. And the before and afters are pretty gnarly in the gut. So I had like 30 guys right away and just be like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, like I have a fitness business, like overnight. Well, man, the fitness business really quick turned into like a lot more than that, with an end goal of like being the ultimate father for our families and
Yeah.
delivering the best product of ourselves to our wives and our kids. And I realized very quickly when we get the mindset and the purpose outside of ourselves, you know, and now it ain't about the abs or the bicep veins. It's about kind of man am I for my family, and then connecting what it takes to get like a lean, jacked physique, what that actually takes, and then and then purposely bleeding that over into controlling your emotional reactions in the home, and then taking action in every other part of your life. And so it's like a threefold mission. One, get jacked and lean. Two, become the ultimate warrior monk with your emotional reactions with your wife and your kids. And three, be an action taker. Don't be a couch loafer. Don't waste time. Your time on this planet is focused on your vision, period. That's the Superhuman Father's way.
Yeah. So you started it as kind of just fitness, right? And then it kind of evolved into this kind of more broader, scope. So like,
Dude,
I mean, when did you start it then? Because you started taking on clients like just
like
doing fitness stuff, right?
14 months ago,
Okay, so this is still pretty new.
dude, we've grown from 30 guys right out the gates. We're almost at 240.
Jesus, yeah, that is crazy growth.
And now I hired my brother as my co-coach, which, dude, that guy 7 months ago, fat, depressed, no purpose. He's literally the most inspirational, disciplined human on the planet in 7 months. Like I hired him. I was like, dude, I need you to be the guy that shows people from like, hey, look who I was 7 months ago. Cause like, if you've been living this way a long time, people start to think that that's just who you are. Like you never struggled or something. They start thinking you're genetically special or something. But you take a guy who's like, hey, no, I was you 6 months ago. Look at my picture. They're like, what? That wasn't you. I'm like, oh yeah, that was me. Now my brother looks like he's in 300, dude. Like, and he acts like it. Like this dude literally would die for the cause. Like to watch your own brother make that kind of transition and to find something in his life that he would die for. I mean, so then I
Yeah,
hired my other brother. I got him jacked. Hired my other brother, and then hired 3 other people. So now we're a team of like 7 people, and it's growing so fast that like, dude, my white belt entrepreneurial skills are being pressed to the limits.
dude. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised it's growing so fast. Like your content you're putting on Instagram is awesome, man. Like I follow you and keep up the stories and stuff like that. And man, seeing you wake up at like I don't know what time your alarm gets off, but you're up early in the morning.
Bro,
And
I don't even post the time anymore because I don't want people to think like they have to do that. That's why I just put the picture, because like at some point you'll pull yourself away, like you'll be so weird that it almost freaks people out too much. So like yeah, man, I'm up at 2:45 every morning.
what time do you go to bed?
9:45.
What is that? It's basically 10 o'clock. So 11,
Yeah,
12, 1, 2. So you get like 5 hours max.
yeah, like 4.5. Usually, like my whoop tells me I get like 4:15, 4.5.
Does that
But
burn
man, I got
burn you
5
out?
kids and I got this vision to push and I got content to
Yeah.
make, and I'm on calls from 8 to 6. And then in between that time, I'm like hanging out with my kids like for 30 minutes, going skateboarding or going play. Like my 7-year-old loves to play handball against the garage. Like it's his favorite thing in the world. Didn't play handball. So it's like go hang out with the kids, get some food real quick, get on another call, and just, dude, I'm just bouncing until my head hits the pillow. I'm out. Like I think literally my 4 hours of sleep are better than most people's 8, because I'm so goddamn tired that like I go into REM right away. It's like eyes closed, gone.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy, man. Like that pace that you're keeping up with. I mean, you would think you get burnt out at some point on that. I don't know
Yeah,
if you have to like put into your schedule certain times, right? I mean, I know you're getting sleep at night and it's like good REM sleep, because you're so tired, but like at some point you got to be like, all right, let me schedule some
hey,
downtime.
hey, fuck burnout. It's a lie, dude. I love burnout. I hit burnout and I go, okay, here it is. I'm there. Like, what happens if I just push through this shit? Like, what happens? Am I going to die? I might die. Let's just test it. So then I just roll through it. And then I end up just recovering and being fine. Like, and not only that, my stress management increases. And I mean, the other thing with me, man, I like right now, so I'm not in the firehouse right now. I took a year leave of absence like 6 weeks ago.
Okay.
When I was in the firehouse, I was getting up at 4:30, no matter what. And even if we ran all night. But what I found was I had insomnia real bad, like, because your sleep is so off. You're just like, because you won't sleep you'll like sleep a couple hours in 3 days or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you come home and you sleep for like 10 hours and then it's nighttime and you can't sleep. And I was like, dude, this is a mess. So when I just set that wake up time, no matter what, whatever night I came home, I would sleep like a rock and then I was reset. And so it actually really helped me to like make that non-negotiable in order to get rid of my insomnia and sleep better when I did sleep. So I found that very interesting. So then when I got out of the firehouse, I was waking up at 4:30. I was like, dude, I have way more sleep than I need right now. Like I'm used to just going forever with none. And so I was like, well, I could just bring this back. And then I was like, yeah, this is no problem. Now, don't get me wrong, dude. Like come about 4 or 5 o'clock, man. Like I'm digging deep, bro. Like there's some moments. But like anything, man, like you just get so used to it that like you just become a fucking savage, dude. Like it, you know?
Tell me about your group, man. Like what are you bringing guys through? Like somebody that is at that point, they're like, hey, I want to get better, I want to get in better shape, I want to have better relationships, I want to be a better dad.
Yeah.
Like what does that look like when they raise their hand and say, yeah, Kyle, that's me. I want to join Superhuman Fathers, and like what does that onboarding look like, and then what are you guys doing?
Like so the first thing is like right now I'm like the gatekeeper. So like when I talk to somebody, like I let them know what's expected, and up front, what's expected is like, hey, you're gonna make a change, and I need you to commit to me right now that you'll never go back to your old ways. Like no more of this up and down shit. No more of this inconsistency. Like literally you're going to die and they're going to have an open casket. You're going to be shredded. They'll be like, damn, grandpa's shredded. Look at that dude. You know, the guy embalming this old man's going to be like, holy shit, this guy's shredded. You know, it's just like, it's like this mindset of like bulk season or whatever, or like, oh, I'll just get fit for this vacation. It's like, no, we live fit. Like that's where we stay. This is what we are and this is what we do.
Hey guys, short pause here. Kyle and I had some technical difficulties, but want to take this opportunity to tell you that this podcast is sponsored by the Epic Dad Co. pre-workout. It is a all-natural pre-workout, only 7 ingredients that is targeted just for busy dads. So whether you're looking to get back in the gym, you need to go out and cut the grass, or you've got a few diaper changes on your plate, it's going to give you the all-natural energy you need to get out there and make it happen. And right now you can get 15% off your first purchase at theepicdad.com. Just use coupon code TEDCO15, that's TEDCO 15 at checkout at theepicdad.com, or just head over to amazon.com and type in TEDCO pre-workout. All right, let's get back to the episode.
There he is.
I got booted.
We'll edit that shit, man.
It's all good. So anyway, onboarding process is, first of all, we got to get their fitness regimen and eating right. Like that's number one. So we build them custom workouts. We have an app that they go on. In the app, we have our group chat where everyone communicates together. And then we have sections of the chat. So like accountability sections. One super important is like our guys post their macros that we give them every night to the group chat.
Yeah.
And so like, if you have a fucked up day, like you're telling everybody that you're like, hey.
Yeah, it's probably gonna like once you want to have that donut or something, you got to think like, oh shit, I got to let everybody know at the end of the day that I need this, so maybe I won't do this.
Totally. And then we have a channel for wake ups. Like guys can put like, hey, I want to wake up at 5 tomorrow, and then they'll post their wake up time. And then we've got a book that we read. So we have our book club channel. And then we have another place where you can put books and podcasts, another chat where like people put all their recipes and stuff and all the stuff that they're eating and making with their macros and all that. But probably like the most powerful, life-changing stuff we do is we do 5 Zoom calls a week. And so we have 5 of them. We have one's called Marriage Mastery, and me and my wife do that one. You know, we've been married 20 years. We've had our ups and downs. You know, I've messed stuff up. She's messed stuff up. And we've kind of come to the conclusion, man, like you can go to all the therapy in the world and talk about your feelings all day. But in the end, like somebody's got to step up and just be the better person. Like somebody's got to be like, hey, I'm here for you. I'm going to carry you. So I ain't going to argue. I'm not going to snap back. I'm not going to be sarcastic. I'm going to understand where you're coming from. And I'm going to teach you how to be a good spouse. And from what I find with my guys, and every marriage is different, when you set the example in the tone and you don't get sucked into the crazy of whoever the crazier spouse is, because it's not always the wife, right? Sometimes it's you. Then they start to react differently and they start to take on the traits that you have. And so, you know, like the way I look at it is like, I need nothing from you. Nothing. I need nothing from you. Whereas like, if you go to counseling, they'll be like, you need to share your feelings of what you're not getting and what your needs are. I'm like, fuck your needs. I need nothing. I'm here to serve you. What do you need? How can I help you? And then you live your life independently. Like, carry them. Like, I got this. I'm the man. I'm the leader to this family. I don't need anything from this family. I lead this family. And when you do that, now, you know, if you ain't getting what you want from your wife, you know, you're getting itchy at 7 o'clock and she rolls over and you're like, you didn't get my meat. Yeah, I'm going to go sleep on the couch. You never instigate anything. It's like, fucking serious, dude? Like, what are you, a baby? Like, why don't you earn that? Earn it. You know, like just a different attitude. Like, you don't owe me anything. Everything is earned. Patience, love, energy. Just a different outlook, man. And it seems to help guys a lot, you know? So we talk about marriage and family, and then we have another one called Assholes Anonymous. That's our main group. And that's kind of where Superhuman Fathers stemmed from, because we all have this underlying like friction and frustration. And this is what I found. That frustration and friction, it will never go away. Like, we only can learn how to deal with it and not let it affect our outward responses. And we can lessen it. And how do we lessen it? We live according to our conscience and we follow our vision. So like, I am the most happy and fulfilled when the actions in my life are in congruence with the vision I have for myself. And my body, when I look in the mirror, I'm like, yep, that's the warrior that I truly am. When I have those two things, I'm happier with myself. I'm less frustrated. And so it's easier to give love and energy to my family. Having said that, you're still going to have those days. And so I tell my guys, we're always looking for those battles. And the battles are with food, food temptations, and emotional responses. And when you really practice that, you're like, when that moment comes where you're reaching for the shitty food and you're like, oh, this is my battle right here. This is it. I see it. Let's win this shit. And then when your wife like rips on you for something, like, you will never tell me you love me and you just did, and you're just like, and you're about to just, you know what? You go, oh shit, this is it right here. Okay, cool. You're like, oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I do love you. Come here. Give her a hug. You know, instead of being like, I told you yesterday. Remember when I told you that those pants were really good and they look great on you? It's like, no, man, just give her what she needs. She needs you right now. And we're not being defensive anymore. We're just like, we're winning that battle, you know? So that's that. And then we have our own book club where we go over every week. We're reading a book together. And then we have a Transformation Tuesday where one of our guys who had a psychotic life transformation talks about what he went through. And then we have a guy that lost like 100 pounds in 8 months who is very inspiring. We call it, that's the Ox Hour. And it's like real big dudes have a different mountain to climb, you know, like 280 plus. They're looking at like skinny fat guys that get shredded real fast. And they're like, well, dude, Like my
Yeah, all
mountain's
they gotta
way
do is
bigger.
change what they eat and like do a little bit of cardio and like they're shredded. Yeah.
Yeah. It just, we call them genetically challenged guys. They have a different mountain to climb. So when they see a guy that did it, lost 100 pounds that fast, it's like, okay, I could follow this guy. So the
Yeah.
Ox is the man, dude. He's very inspiring.
Well, Kyle, take me back to the beginning, right? Because you weren't always Kyle, running Superhuman Fathers, helping guys get fit, helping with their relationships. Like that wasn't always the case, right? So like
No.
take me back, to hey, you're a young kid, skateboarder, in a band and stuff, and like take me on that journey from like, hey, hitting adulthood to where'd you go there, and then how'd you get connected, in the fire community, and then all the way to where you're at now.
Yeah, so I'm a kid growing up in Oceanside, surf, skate, punk rock stuff. Always been a little like low confidence in a sense. Like I still look at life like this. Like I see other people and I look up to people. Like I always feel like I'm a little less than somebody else. And it's not a bad feeling. It's just like I admire people. And some people are like, dude, look what you're doing. Like that guy's not where you're at. And I'm like, yeah, but look at him, like, and I think that's a very in a sense, a really good trait for me because it keeps me grounded and humble and like open and wanting to learn from people. At no point do I think like I've reached a pinnacle of like being awesome or like I feel like anything that I've accomplished has been truly from just compassion, love, and grit. You know what I mean? And I have an underlying anxiety, social anxiety. Like I grew up just with like, I remember like I couldn't do a pull up in 8th grade, not one. Like I remember a specific time, like kids were jumping over this fence. It was like 3 feet tall. This was before I really skateboarded. Every kid could do it, and I couldn't. And I remember when I first started skateboarding, there were guys who were really good at skateboarding, and they'd make fun of me because my skateboard was like had bigger trucks or whatever. And so I was just like this kid that just felt like kind of picked on, and I was in my head thought, man, those kids are special. I'm just a below average dork, But I learned through skateboarding that like those guys would sit down and smoke weed and I would drill my tricks. And pretty soon I started getting better than them. And I was like, hold on, wait. So all I have to do is just practice more than those guys and I'll get better than them?
Yeah, just work harder.
I could be an idiot. I could be dumber. I could be uglier. I could be whatever. And if I just put more time in and more consistency, I'll rise. And I was like, well, here it is. And so I think I learned that from skateboarding, man. And so I started to apply that in my life as a young age with surfing and skateboarding and music. And I actually grew up Mormon.
Okay.
And I went on a mission. And I don't prescribe to any religion now. I'm right now in my life, I'm like open heart, like teach me, tell me what you believe. Like, I want to know it all. I want to feel what people feel and just learn, so many different ideologies and like viewpoints of life. So anyway, but that mission was rad because I learned like how to go all in, like all in. And so like, it was like, wake up in the morning early. I think it was probably 5 a.m. back then, study. And then I would hit the streets and I would just share my religion all day till like 7 at night, no breaks, no lunch, just attack. And I learned Spanish and I learned how to talk to people. And I learned that like loving other people and forgetting about myself gave me the greatest fulfillment and joy in life. So that was 2 years, finished that thing, came home, started working at a bank and as a teller. And they moved me into the new accounts. And I guess I was really good at talking to people. And so I did really good at new accounts. I'm like, dude, you need to get into our finance side. And so they put me in the finance side and then they're like, hey, you need to go upstairs and do the mortgage stuff. And I was okay. And then it's pretty soon. I'm like in my early 20s, and I'm like, damn, I just made my first 6 figures, and I'm just like, wow. And then I had a $20,000 month and a $25,000 month, and I was like showing my wife these checks. I was like, this is crazy. Like, I'm an idiot. There's no way, And I was an idiot because that was around 2008, and so I had 3 years, made terrible investments, pumped a bunch into my 401k, into the bank, like, yeah, I'm gonna retire at 40. And then, dude, 2008 came, and like I had like $500,000 in my 401k that just went to like zero. And then like it went from like being like this, now started to get a little cocky, and just got the rug pulled under me. Got our car repoed, bro. Like, moved in with my wife's parents. Like it was so good for me to just get absolutely kicked in the balls and be like, hey, remember, you're not that cool, and you're not that smart. And so at that point, it was like full reset mode. I was like, well, dude, what am I doing with my life? Like, I don't really like the bank. Like, it's not my vision for my life. And I was like, well, shit, I've always wanted to be a fireman. So I'm sitting here at 28, 29, 28. And I was like, well, let's go be a fireman. And I'll go sign up and go be a fireman. Well, little did I know, there's a very torturous path you have to take to even be considered to be hired at a fire department. And, I'm 3 years into this torturous task, going to paramedic school, doing ride-alongs, volunteering. I'm literally working 24 hours a day for 3 years, getting paid peanuts, until I got hired in Colorado, Thornton, Colorado.
Okay.
We moved our family out there, and those first 3 years were a beatdown, bro. Like, all my weaknesses. This was a very important part of my process with my marriage and my family, because I had an inherent, I know it doesn't sound like it, but in the house, I had an inherent like lack of awareness of what was going on. Dishes would pile up. I wasn't like the diaper changer. I was like living like an old school dad. Like,
I go to work. I make the money. That's my job. That's it.
That's it. But so these guys sniffed that out of me, and they beat the shit out of me. Like, emotionally just bullied me to death. And like showing up late to things, like just little things that like you have these faults that you don't see in yourself unless you have some people that point them out to you aggressively, And so it was really good reset for me over those 3 years, and I literally became a different human. Like, so I'm sitting here on probation in Colorado, and they have me do this rap. Like, it's old school. Things are changing now, but back in the day, you could abuse the new guy pretty well.
Yeah, little hazy never hurt anybody.
Little hazy, you get it. And so they have me. They're like, "Hey, you're gonna do a rap tomorrow morning for us. It better be good." Or no, it was like 2 days. I had 2 days.
Yeah.
So I literally spent 16 hours on this rap, like getting it so dialed in, and I used some like Eminem like background music, and I wrote this rap, and I was like, damn, this is pretty good. So I performed this rap, and like the guys were like, holy shit, that was amazing. Like,
they didn't boo you off stage?
No, it was, but the funny thing was, like, nervous Nelly me, like, I was nervous. I'm holding this paper, doing this rap, and my hand's shaking while I'm rapping. Like, because I'm nervous. I'm in front of people. I'm nervous. So I get this nickname, Slim Shaky. That was they started calling me Slim Shaky. So I would do IVs and stuff. Like,
yeah,
I'd get real nervous when people look at me, and I'd be in the ambulance doing an IV, and my hand's like this, and they're like, is this guy gonna get that IV? And I get him, but it was like, damn, Slim Shaky, nice job. I actually had one moment where I freaking surgically criked a guy.
Yeah.
And it was like a sawzall, dude. My hands were like, get
away from me, bro.
I was like, oh my God. Hey, you want me to do that? I was like, no, I got it.
So I have a funny story on that. This is overseas in Afghanistan. We had a medic, right, that would do saline bags and stuff, IVs if we got like dehydrated, whatever. Like, he was good at it. But we all wanted to train, just in case there's a situation where, like, hey, you gotta get shot, something, like we gotta administer an IV, like everyone knows how to do it. And so, we went through training on it and stuff. And so two stories here. One is a buddy of mine. I'm actually going out in a month to his wedding. So hopefully he doesn't listen to this. He'll be pissed if he hears me talk about this. But same thing, right? He was like this with the IV, and and yeah, he would get it, but you just have to not look, man. You just be like, please God, like, and
Poke 4 holes before you get the one.
Yeah. And then the other one was one of my guys was like deathly afraid of needles and blood and whatnot. And I was pretty steady with the IV. So, I stuck him, whatever, and had the little wrap on, little rubber band wrap on or whatever. And I guess I forgot to take the rubber band wrap off. And so I came to pull it out. And I mean, blood just went everywhere. And he just immediately passes out. He's just like, falls over. So, I feel you, man. The shaky hands. It's not an easy task.
No, man. The funny thing is, and then at some point during my time there, I had a guy come up to me and he goes, "Hey, man, what happened to Slim Shaky?" And I go, "What do you mean?" He's all, "You fucking killed him, dude. He's gone." And I was like, "Whoa, he is." And then I was like, "Well, no, you know what? No, he's still there. I feel him every morning." And I was like, "I have to kill him every day." And I was like, "Dude, I literally, and I still, to this day, I call my weakness Slim Shaky. He's in there. And he greets me every morning when I wake up. Every morning I wake up, he says, 'Hey, man, you're tired. You can't do this anymore. It's really hard. You deserve a break.'" So I got to take his head and put it on a curb and stomp on it every morning. And that motherfucker's a zombie. He comes back alive again. He comes back alive again in a few hours, and I got to stomp on him again.
Yeah. Dude, I love that. Like actually giving your weakness, a name and like some life, because then it gives you something to target, right? Because like,
dude,
I have the same thing, right? My alarm goes off, and just the other morning I did it. I was like, I had the intention of going to work out. Like the alarm goes off, I wake up, and like that little voice in my head just be like, "Nah, man, nah, just go back to sleep," right? Like so everybody has it, but I love that of like actually, calling it out, calling it into being, and being like, I know what that is. I know who that is. I know that's not who I want to be. So I need to intentionally kill that like every morning.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's powerful.
That has been probably one of the greatest life changes of my life, is giving my weakness a name.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we talk about a lot in the Superhuman Fathers, is like, a lot of guys call it the weakness. My brother calls it the fake me. Some guys call it the resistance, or the devil, whatever. Like, I'm just fortunate to literally, it has its own name. Like, he's a creature. He's a creature inside me. And like, I know him very well, and I know his voice very well. Like, I've gotten to the point where I can differentiate that voice. I'm like, no, I know what you're trying to do, and I know who you are. And so you have these voices. You have your true voice, your conscience. And when you listen to your true voice and your conscience, it gets louder and clearer, and you get good at differentiating the voices in your head from the excuses. The excuses are the Slim Shaky, the weakness. And now, like, when I hear it, it has a different tone. Like, I know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's bullshit. Nope, that's not me. And that's been just a massively powerful influence on my life.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to ask, like, when guys come to your group, like, what are some ways that you help them overcome that, right? Because I think, like, deep down, we all know, like, I wouldn't say we all know, but a lot of us, right, have gone through exercises, like vision exercises. Like, we know where we want to go. We have goals, but then that little voice creeps inside our head, right, that keeps us from taking action on a lot of things, like whether it's fear, whether it's lack of energy, being tired, whether it's lack of motivation, whatever the case is. Like, we all hear that little voice. So, like, outside of giving that voice a name and identifying it, like, what are some ways that you have your guys go through and just squash that voice?
One is like legitimate, powerful leadership. Like, if I am not living it today, then my voice will be weak and I will lose that power. So I have to earn the power to speak every day. So if I go on a Zoom call and I ate like shit, missed my wake up, didn't get my workout in, and I'm like, "You guys need to get your workouts in," dude, it'll fall flat. They can smell it.
Yeah.
But like, this is bullshit. And they will literally not be inspired, because my words have no power behind them. And so long term, I want my guys to sit in a mentor seat in the Superhuman Fathers Brotherhood so that they have the accountability that I have. When you have people looking to you for inspiration, and you know that if you don't follow through, even if they don't see you fuck up, you will lose power to influence and lead them.
Yeah.
Man, you're going to think twice.
Yeah.
Before...
That's a great point too, man. I think like, you know, when I was in the military, right? Like I had guys that literally I was responsible for their lives, right? Like overseas, you know, like,
Yeah.
hey, if I make a mistake and fuck up and like get one of them killed, like that's on me, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm the one that has to tell their parents. I'm the one that has to, you know, to overcome that, right? And it's like it's on me to be the leader. But like, you know, outside of a kind of corporate workspace, right? Like some guys may be leaders there, but it's a totally different environment, right? And so like, where can you find that leadership of, you know, if guys are like, hey, I'm just doing my own thing, I got goals, right? But I don't have anybody looking to me for inspiration. I don't have it, you know, anybody counting on me to do anything. Like how can you build that into your life so that you know, you kind of have that, like you take on that leadership role again?
Yeah, I would say like number one is realizing that it's all around you and you already have that accountability. So like, and that's why we talk to fathers, because it's like, hey, you think that you go home and you're in a safe place, that you can let loose. Bullshit. People say my family's the most important thing to me, but then they go home and they lazy on the couch. They let their wife do the work. They're aloof. They're irritated. They're not energetic. They're just like, they let their shit out. Like, instead of being like, okay, I'm going to walk into this home, I'm going to bring the energy and I'm going to be the leader. Because if that is truly our most important thing, then, and we're giving our best to our job and our friends, you know, it's like you could be all pissed off fighting with your wife and your buddy calls you, hey bro, what's up, man? It's like, what the fuck is that? Really? You know, so it's already set in place. Like your accountability is right in front of you. What you got to do is realize how bad you can destroy your family, but how much epic impact you can have at the same time with your energy in the home. And so when guys start to realize that and really start to see their impact with their actions, they're like, oh, I am highly accountable here, you know? And then of course, like when people first start, one of the things that they say, and this is what I dig at people, I'm like, hey man, when did you feel your best? And they're usually like, oh man, I played ball in college and you know, I was healthy and I was strong. And you're like, okay, well, what did that man feel like? Like, what was that feeling inside? The same word always comes up every time. Unstoppable. And I'm like, boom, there it is. There it is. That's what you're seeking. You want to feel unstoppable again. And they're like, yeah, that's it. I'm like, that's the switch. That's the switch we got to flip. And let me tell you, like, what's the answer to feeling unstoppable? Dude, action is the only antidote. Movement is the medicine. Like, we sit here and we think all the time. Like, so you're sitting on the couch and you're all comfortable and you're like, you have this vision for your life and you're like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm making changes. It's going to happen tomorrow, you know? And then the alarm goes off. So the guy wants to be a savage, but when it comes time to step up, it's like, oh, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And then he's back on the couch again, depressed. And he's like, okay, tomorrow it's going to happen.
Yeah, you keep pushing that can down the road. You know,
the only way you're going to feel unstoppable is to jump in that cold water, man. It's the only way. So if you want to feel like shit, keep doing what you're doing. If you want to feel amazing and unstoppable, we have to set some daily habits in place. And these are the daily habits, the basic outline. Get up before you want to. Number one, leave some sleep in the tank. Like, it should suck to get up because Slim Shaky is going to get a kick right in the teeth when you get up when you don't want to. Like, you just set the stage. You just put him in the corner. You're like, hey, this is how the day is going to go. You're not in control. I am. And then at that point, I tell guys, like, if you're a religious man, get on your knees, pray to God, thank him for all the blessings in your life, and promise him that you're not going to waste today. If spiritual guy, meditate a little bit on your blessings in life and what your vision is for yourself. I like to write. I get up and to make content and write for 2 hours before I go to the gym. I don't say 2 hours. Like a guy could literally take 5 minutes, but then he's got to go to war with his body. And so right away, whatever that means for our guys, we're focused on body composition, especially in the beginning, and massive fat loss quickly. So we do bodybuilding type workouts for our guys to get maximum body composition. And so they go in and I'm like, bro, make this workout the hardest workout of your life. And then record everything, all your sets and reps. And then next time you do that workout again, you're going to remember, damn, that was the hardest workout of my life. And now I have to beat that.
Yeah.
And so you always have this battle, this war to fight. And you're forcing growth within that. But preferably you come home before your kids and wife wake up and you welcome them into the world as this man that just fought battles in the morning, right? Mm. So now you get to be the father, make breakfast. You welcome them into the world with energy. And then what do we got to do today? All we got to do is fight those 3 battles. The one with food, the one with our emotional responses, and the ones with our laziness. Those are your 3 battles you're looking for. So when you sit down and you're like, oh, I'm over it. It's 2:00 and you're like, oh, I'm over it. Especially you work at home or something, and you turn the TV on, like, listen to the voice. It's going to tell you, hey, fucker, you ain't done yet today. You got plenty of time to work on your vision. You want to be unstoppable? Get your ass up. And so in the beginning, we just got to set the habits. And that's why we have those accountability chats. Yeah. That's why we do 5 Zoom calls a week, because it's like church, man. It's like you read your Bible every day to remind you, because you'll forget. And I made that post the other day, like, you can fuck up your diet in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. Your whole day is great. It's 5:00 and you're like, you lose your vision and you just go hammer down a bag of chips. You just blew your macros out the roof. Like, you fucked up your day. Like, in 2 minutes. So What does that mean? That means you always have to be on. You got to be constantly reminding yourself of what your vision for yourself is and be on constantly. Why do I go on such the attack every day, all the time? Because I don't want to forget. Mm. And so if I'm anxiously engaged in my vision, and I'm suffering, if I'm in some sort of suffering, having to push myself, like if I'm going on my 7th call for the day and I'm exhausted, in that moment, I am fighting against my resistance. I'm not going to go eat shitty. I'm in the fight. When I'm going to eat terrible is when I let loose. Ugh. Yeah. And I settle in. That's when I'm going to eat bad, So it's like, hey, everything is connected, the full package, the full savage man, just attacking his vision in family, in his fitness, in his business. You got to go all in. It's the only way to keep it sustainable. And people are like, this is not sustainable. I'm like, it's sustainable if you're always on the attack. It is sustainable. If you half-ass it and go half in, no, you ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, I like, so 2 things with that I really like is, one is, the getting up in the morning one, right? And getting kind of all your shit done for you before the family gets up, right? Is huge, right? So like that way you're not, because I fall prey to this, like, too, is like, hey, I'll miss a wake up, I'll miss a workout, whatever, and then like I want to get that done during the day, but now it's like taken away from my time with my family, and like where I should
your business. You're stealing time from your business, your future, and your family.
Yeah. Yep. And so I try to, like, and I'm not perfect on it, but I try to make a commitment, like, hey, I'm either going to work out in the morning, like before the family gets up, and like go attack it then, or I'm going to wait, and it's going to suck, but I'm going to wait until like 10 p.m. when my family goes to sleep, and then I'm going to go down to the basement, I'm going to get after it, right? And that way it's not like taken away from my family time. So that's one that I really like. And then 2, I just wanted to call out like how awesome I think it is to give that voice a name again. Like that's huge. I never really thought of it that way, and I'm gonna start doing that and probably see some massive results from that, because like part of it is just recognizing when that voice is going off in your head. And like you said, like, hey, if I'm at 2 minutes to ruin my diet for the day, right? Like part of you, there's somewhere down in your subconscious that's telling you like, nah, man, don't do it, don't do it, do it, right? But you gotta like recognize that voice on like the 2 conflicting sides, and like be aware enough to know, like, all right, there's a struggle here. I'm in the struggle, and now I'm going to make the right choice,
Yeah, dude. I literally talked to it, and yeah, I hope the cursing's okay on your
Dude, we've already dropped like 15 F-bombs. You're good.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I just it's just it's firehouse talk. It's the way I express myself, and I think it's better uncensored to get the message across sometimes. But yeah, yeah, it's like it's a skill, dude. It's literally a practice skill. It's like anything, like sports, freaking jujitsu, skateboarding. Like the more you're in the game, playing this game, and that's what I tell my guys. Hey, have fun with this. In fact, take all emotion out of the game, all of it. This is a system that we're trying to maximize. And so when you do mess up, don't be down on yourself. Just be like, oh, where is the system messed up here? How can I create my daily habits, my processes, my mindset, so that when this moment comes up again at 4:45 and I just have this lapse of purpose, like how do we stop that from happening? Because if it's happening around the same time or because of the same stressors, then we're like, all right, we need to adjust some things so that in that moment or when this happens, we set some things up so that you have a buffer. You have a moment where you can stop and take a breath and listen, you know?
Mhm.
And I mean, I still deal with this all the time. Like I'll be looking in my pantry and being like, just looking at stuff, grabbing it. I'm like,
Yeah, what am I doing?
it might self-talk, bro. Like I'm not, people hear it, they'd be like, you can't talk to yourself like that. I'm like, I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to Slim Shaky, bro. Like, like when I wake up in the morning and I hear him, I'm like, fuck you. I'm gonna crush your fucking head. Get out of my way. You don't run me, you know? Like I'm talking to it. And I'll talk to myself in the mirror like that. Oh, okay. Like, and if I screw up, like I say I miss a wake up time or I eat shitty or something, man, I make him pay, bro. And I tell him, hey, today was chest day, but it's leg day and we're doing double. And I can hear him squeal, man. He's like, no. And I'm like, yep, this is what you get.
Yeah. Dude,
You know?
so you got 5 kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are they?
All right. I've got a 15-year-old son. He's a savage when I can get him there. So he's not a self-starter. But like he wrestled varsity as a freshman. And like when he's in the shit, the dude will give 110%. Like he will die trying. But every day he's like, I'm sick, Dad. I'm like, okay, I don't see what that has to do with anything. He's like, I'm really tired. I was like, do you want to get into my body and feel what I feel like? Because you would die. Like if you literally felt how I feel right now, you would probably die. He's like, and you know, so like there's some motivating factors in that, and I'm trying to get him to take action. But he's a 15-year-old, like whatever. And I play a game with it. I don't, I bust his balls, but like I think that's important as a dad, man, not to like be too forceful, like angry and forceful and emotional about things. Like you can just make it a game and set the example. And like, dude, if you're killing it in life, your kids admire you. Like they want to be like you. They're like, dude, I want to be like my dad, but it's hard. So you just play a game with it. So my other kid's 14. He's going through a phase where like he's dealing with like he's starting to get a little snooty, you know, like starting to have a little attitude. So like, dude, I quit. I stopped that real quick, man. Like one response, I'm like, that was an interesting tone. Are you trying to start something? Is that what's like? What do you want? What do you want out of this? He's like, sorry, you know. And then I got a 10-year-old, and both my 13-year-old, my 14-year-old, and my 10-year-old, they rip at skateboarding. My 10-year-old especially rips, man. He shreds. He's a rad little kid. He's like a baby adult. And then my 7-year-old is like an ADD psycho. He also rips at skateboarding, but he's like he's an emotional mess, man. Like I make that kid do like 1,000 burpees a day, and like because he'll start just crying about nothing and whining. I'm like, all right, man, you got to do burpees until you can have a good attitude. So he's doing burpees and he's doing them hard and angry. Like, yeah. I go, those don't count. You got to do, hey, and I tell him, I go, hey, Marine face. I want to see no emotion in your face when you do these burpees. And he's like, I see anger. Let me see you. Show me just a normal face. And then, so finally he's like, relax his face. I go, okay, keep that while you're doing burpees. He does his burpees. And I hear a little whimper. I'm like, ooh, we're gonna have to start over if I hear another one of those. And they get through them, and then he feels better. And he's like, and then we're cool. And it's like, all right, what'd you learn, man? He's like, I need to control myself better. And I'm like, yeah, man, listen, you deal with the same things I do. Like, I have a hard time controlling myself. So like, I do burpees when I feel the same way, And so I just take these moments to kind of like teach them the struggles of man. It's normal. And then we have a 2-year-old oops baby. So those are all boys, and we had our little girl. And like, bro, I mean, come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah, man. Girls are the best, dude.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, 6 and 4 are my girls, and then I got a brand new boy. It's 3 months, so I'm used to the girl stuff. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do the boy dad thing.
Yeah, I mean, boy dad will become natural to you just as a man, and especially military experience. Like you'll kill it. The girls, dude, like she is literally my favorite human on the planet. Like this little creature that like I didn't even want. And I was like, a girl. I was like, man, we're a boy family. She's gonna ruin our vibe, And then now, dude, I'm just like so enamored of this little creature. I can't imagine my life without it. Honestly, the way she came into the world is without her, Superhuman Fathers never would have been created. My wife was gonna go be a teacher, and she didn't. My wife's a savage, bro. She got pregnant during her credential with 4 kids, and she was at the gym every morning at 4:30 while pregnant, while doing all of her work, while running her business, Warrior Mom Fitness. And she had a teacher who was pregnant, but Whitney didn't tell her she was pregnant, and her teacher was pregnant with her first and always complained about how she was sick. And, hey, can you get that? Because I'm pregnant. And here's Whitney waking up at 4:30 in the morning, hitting the gym, doing her homework, taking care of her business and her kids. She's like, yeah, sure, no problem. So she does all this stuff, works in the class, and at some point she starts showing, and the teacher's like, are you pregnant? She's like, yeah, it's just my 5th. It's not a big deal. First one's hard. I get it. Just savage, bro.
It's just like dropping the hammer on her.
Dude, it was so great.
Dude, so let's hit on this real quick. So like, I love what we've been chatting about, having that fire, but like at some point in time too, like guys are going to struggle, right? Let's say they get off the wagon a little bit. They're like, hey, I was doing great. I've had, whether it's like a life event, right? Like let's say I had a job change or, new kid or just some stressors going on in life. Like, hey, they kind of drop off, right? They get off the routine. Like, what's the best way, to get back on that and say like, all right, I know what I'm capable of because I've done it before. I need to get back there. I'm struggling with it. Like, what's a couple things I can do to kind of kickstart the routine back?
You talking about someone I'm coaching or someone outside of coaching?
Either way, man. Yeah, either way.
One, get a coach, man. Get accountability. I've always had them. I'll always have them. I've spent $100,000 on my own coaching in the last 2 years. Like, I believe in coaching accountability. Find people that are living the way that you want and pay them to teach you how to do it.
Yep. Love that.
I mean, because otherwise you're on your own. Like, you're going to get half-assed results and you're going to be stuck. Yeah. There's very few people that can do it on their own. I never could, but on the other side, guys that work with me that come to me and like, hey, Kyle, man, I really blew it the last 3 days. I'm like, okay, good. How do you feel? I feel terrible. Awesome. How do you want to feel? I want to feel amazing. I want to feel unstoppable. Perfect. What do you have to do? I got to get back on the program. Look what you just learned. You just learned the disparity between the two. And every time you're in alignment and you fail, you now have that moment of wisdom and understanding that I don't want this anymore. And so it actually strengthens your resolve, because when you don't have that very like right in your face feeling of the disparity between the two, it's hard to make the decision.
Mm.
But when you're constantly trying to stay on alignment and getting off and getting back on, you're like, I know what I want now. And it becomes who you are, what you want, what your purpose is, rather than just trying to grind through discipline. Because like if you're working only with discipline, it's gonna wane, man. Like at some point, you have to have your purpose cup fill up enough to where the discipline flows out, and now your cup is full of purpose. Like all of my actions, 90%, I would say, is purposeful action. Every once in a while, I got to dip into that discipline tank, but it's very rare.
Mm.
Like very rarely do I have to like make myself do something I don't want to do, because I want to do it because I know where it leads, you know? And the last thing I'll say is like, here's an example. So I took a leave of absence from the firehouse, and I knew that there was going to be a gap or an emptiness in hardship for me, because it's hard. I have to get there early. I got to clean the shitters. We do a really hard workout together. Then we train. And then you're running night calls when like you're exhausted. You're helping people in like your most exhausted state. And that's so good for your spirit. And so I was like, man, so I got to find things that are hard to do. And so, dude, jujitsu, I hate it. It's like the hardest thing for me. I hate it. And so I was like, okay, well, I need to go all in on the 6 a.m. jujitsu. Like that's going to be really hard for me. And so I injected that into my life on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that was a huge piece of feeling. I know it sounds crazy to just inject that in, but honestly, when you're as busy as I am and you inject that 6 a.m. jujitsu, hard rolls at 6 a.m., dude, that increases the threshold of anxiety and difficulty by like 10, bro.
Dude, I'm actually, so I've been interested in jiu-jitsu for a long time now. And like you look at successful people, right? And like you look, at all these guys, and like a lot of what they have in common is they're like, yeah, I roll and do jiu-jitsu because it's fucking hard.
It's hard.
It keeps you humble, right? And like learning. And so I'm actually this evening I'm having a chat with one of my buddies that owns a gym. And just gonna talk to him about the program and stuff, and probably get started in it. And it's just gonna be me getting my ass kicked for like the next 6 months, right?
You'll love it, dude, because it's like I never want to go, and then I'm just elated afterwards. And especially like the way I set it up, I try to make it as just messed up as possible, because I do my writing for 2 hours, then I work out in my garage from like 4:50 to 5:45, and then I wake my kids up and we go straight to the rolling. So I'm going into the rolls already smoked, And so guys are giving me a hard time. I'm tired, dude. I'll do a couple hundred pull-ups and whatever before going in, and my arms are jello, and they're like, man, I thought this guy was strong. He looks big. And I'm like gassing out. They're like, this guy's out of shape.
Well, Kyle, man, we're tell me about the supplement thing. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I am. And I'm kind of just letting it grow with I'm on Amazon, but I'm kind of letting it grow with our community, ultimately I'll have a whole supplement line that will probably be mostly sold to our guys. Like it'll be it's called Roll Fast Burn. Right now it's just a pre-workout. It's not as good as yours, by his. I just want to have like, I'm obsessed with supplements, man. Like you get it. It's like this like passion you get for it just comes with the workout territory.
Yeah, man.
And so I'm building that slowly, but I'm spread pretty thin, man. So like I'm realizing like when you want to build something, you really got to be careful about distractions and going too many different directions. And so like I'm all in on Superhuman Fathers, and the supplement company will just kind of come along with it,
Yeah, it'll grow organically and naturally as you build that group out,
Yeah.
So well, cool, man. Well, Kyle, where can guys find you if they want to get just connected with you or Superhuman Fathers?
Yeah, definitely follow me at Superhuman Fathers on Instagram. I do my like half asleep, half retarded morning messages every morning. I literally type while I'm half asleep, and I don't know what I'm saying, and I just press go.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, at some point I'm gonna say something that's gonna piss off the world and get me on the news and like gonna destroy my business. I don't care. Like I just let it out how I feel. Like that has been my mantra from the beginning. If I'm the man who is worthy to lead these men, I'm gonna let my true self out. And if I am that man truly, then it is authentic. But I cannot do this as a fake, like half-ass guru, man. Like I won't do it. So if at some point my weaknesses burn it down, so be it. But right now it seems as though the philosophy that I've been living has been very powerful in changing many lives. And so I'm just going to keep it real. And dude, sometimes I press post and I'm like,
yeah, you should let it fly, man.
Superhumanfathers.com. You can go on that. And if you want to download my ebook, you can do that. Or if you hit the join now button, then I'll get a hold of you and we'll have a chat if you're interested in joining the Superhuman Fathers Brotherhood and becoming unstoppable again.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Well, Kyle, dude, thank you for coming on, man. It's good to chat, rip it up again. You know, hadn't talked to you in a while since the show, man. I don't know if you're heading out to CapCon again this year or not. I don't know if I am either, but if you are and I am, we'll definitely see you out there. And I got to make a trip out to San Diego. Definitely, man, to come see you.
Please do, man.
So awesome, Kyle. Well, I appreciate it, man. Guys, we'll that's it. We'll wrap. And if you guys want to get in touch with Kyle, you know where to go. Would absolutely urge you to go at a minimum. That's what I'm talking about. At a minimum, follow him on Instagram and keep up with what he's got going on. Super awesome group. So, Kyle, appreciate it, man. And guys, we'll see you on the next episode.